BS minutes restriction. The Indiana Fever got absolutely shellacked and embarrassed at home versus the Golden State Valkyries. This is disgusting. Stephanie White is a joke. The organization is a joke. The medical staff is a joke. I've seen enough. This thing is over. Free Caitlin Clark. She's locked up, locked up.
The world of professional basketball is now holding its breath, completely paralyzed by a chain of events so dark, so suspicious, and so deeply unsettling that it has officially changed the WNBA forever. What unfolded on the hardwood during the high-stakes showdown between the Valkyries and the Indiana Fever was far more than just a basketball game. It became a psychological war zone. For weeks, the tension surrounding generational superstar Caitlin Clark had been building to a relentless boiling point. The pressure, the media spotlight fixed on her back, and the nonstop, borderline unsafe physicality she endures every single night finally erupted into a horrific blowout disaster. Yet, as the final buzzer echoed and the stadium lights dimmed, fans across the globe weren't discussing the final score. Instead, they stared at their screens in complete disbelief, asking one terrifying question: was what we had just witnessed merely a routine, physical basketball game, or was it a calculated, top-down internal betrayal designed to break the league's biggest superstar? The whispers have now grown into a deafening storm. The silence from the front office is impossible to ignore. And when you connect the dots surrounding what happened just before Caitlin stormed off the court, a deeply disturbing story begins to emerge.
Caitlin Clark has the worst whistle in the league.
But they allowed her that emotion.
This was a drive-in right here. Was not called a foul. And wow, I gotta tell you, it was on and popping in this game.
Even make a move to try to keep Burton off.
Caitlin crashed out on the refs. Right here. Right here. She lost it. And you could tell at one point in the game, later after this, she got pulled out of the game, and I think she slammed the table on the way out of the game. But this is another look at this, real close.
I've got to be honest, the officials allowed.
She said, F, I've been fouled 5 effing times. Give me a effing call. F, I got fouled 5 times. It boiled over tonight. It boiled over tonight.
It finally boiled over tonight. To truly understand the anatomy of this disaster, we need to examine the moments the mainstream broadcast attempted to gloss over. From the very first tip-off, it became obvious that the rules governing the game had completely changed for Caitlin Clark. The defense wasn't simply playing tight, they were crossing the line into outright dangerous territory. Standing only a few feet away, with the ultimate authority to control the game, were the WNBA officials. Yet, instead of keeping order, something unbelievable unfolded. Just before the critical altercation, a brutal, highly illegal collision occurred directly in front of the referee's eyes. It wasn't a hidden foul. It was a violent, uncalled hit that sent shockwaves through the Fever bench. Caitlin Clark, visibly in pain and immediately feeling the physical impact, turned straight toward the official. She wasn't merely complaining, she was screaming for a call, pleading for the protection that every superstar in sports history is expected to receive. But the referee's response? Absolute, stone-cold indifference.
All of the bench unit. No Aaliyah Boston. Like, she's only going to get to play for 4 minutes. Can you at least have her out there with Aaliyah Boston or something? No, just, bro, this is a clown show. The Indiana Fever got smacked, man. They got absolutely smacked. Caitlin Clark about to crash out on the ref. I'm surprised she didn't get a tech. I'm going to keep it real. I'm surprised your ass didn't get teed up because you was going off on the ref for good reason. You got knocked out of the air and you was hurt. You was limping. It was a dangerous play. No whistles. And I've been saying, The Indiana Fever are not that good. Yeah, they had a big win versus the Aces. I believe the Aces were just ready to go on vacation. They ain't beat no good teams. They've been beating up on the bums of the league consistently. That is who they've been collecting wins against, beating up on the Sparks, the Mercury, the damn Chicago Sky, like those type of teams. They're not beating.
The whistle never came. In that exact moment, a message was sent to the opposition. Caitlin Clark was fair game. Do whatever you wanted. It became an open invitation to attack, and the consequences were about to turn catastrophic. When a player realizes that the very people responsible for protecting them have completely abandoned them, panic and fury begin to take over. That was the exact moment we witnessed Caitlin Clark's emotional crash out. Fueled by pure adrenaline, overwhelming pain, and the terrifying realization that she was completely on her own, Clark's composure fell apart. She was shouting, pleading, and frantically gesturing toward a refereeing crew that acted as if she were invisible. But the tragedy of this story grows even deeper when you look toward her own bench. Where was the protection? Where was the tactical intervention? Coach Stephanie White remained on the sidelines, completely frozen as the situation spiraled into chaos. Rather than pulling her superstar out of the line of fire, rather than taking a technical foul to protect her players' safety.
Basically the best three-point shooter in all the league for the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks now. I think it's time that we start bringing up Sophie Cunningham for 6th Woman of the Year. I think she's right there. I think she's right there. Guys, this is a tough game. This was a tough game to watch. You can feel, it felt like as we was watching Caitlin Clark's emotion on the court tonight, that all the pressure, all the no calls, all the drama with the other players in the league, the Alyssa Thomas thing, we can go all the way back. Marina Mabry, Kennedy Carter, Angel Reese clotheslining. Caitlin Clark, you got Chelsea Gray claiming that Caitlin Clark fans are calling her the N-word when there was no proof that that guy had any connection to Caitlin Clark. The fans, Indiana Fever, none of that. And then Caitlin Clark has to have all that put on her. And she's dealing with that. I mean, there was no reason for the insinuation of that to be on Clark, but that's what was done. And it's clear that I do not believe that this organization and Caitlin Clark are going to work out. I don't believe that. Or it's going to be a her or them scenario. Stephanie White, Lynn Dunn, Kelly Krauskopf, goodbye. Clean house. Bring in somebody new. Or Caitlin Clark gets traded. One of the two. But you combine everything. They have taken this force that came into the league and they have regulated her to the third option.
The coaching staff allowed an already injured, visibly compromised Caitlin Clark to remain on the floor. The result? The opposition took full advantage of the chaos, unleashing a ruthless offensive that transformed a competitive game into a humiliating blowout loss. The physical toll became too much to endure. Overcome by frustration and blinding pain, Clark finally stormed off the court. Music, she left behind an empty void where the team's spirit had once been. The aftermath of this game has sparked an unprecedented crisis inside the WNBA front office. Public outrage has reached such an intense level that the league could no longer hide behind its standard public relations statements. A wave of relentless scrutiny has been directed at the officiating crew, forcing a dramatic shift behind closed doors. Rumors are rapidly spreading that a prominent WNBA referee has finally broken her silence, privately cracking under the overwhelming pressure of the massive backlash.
No reason for the insinuation of that to be on Clark, but that's what was done. And it's clear that I do not believe that this organization and Caitlin Clark are going to work out. I don't believe that. Or it's going to be a her or them scenario. Stephanie White, Lynn Dunn, Kelly Krauskopf, goodbye. Clean house. Bring in somebody new. Or Caitlin Clark gets traded. One of the two. But you combine everything. They have taken this force that came into the league and they have regulated her to the third option on this team. Caitlin effing Clark has been regulated to the third mother effing option on this team. That's pretty wild to say. But that's what's happened here. All right? That's what's happened. And I think you're seeing it boiling over now. I'm going to say this out loud. I brought it up in the Ben Daniel Podcast TV chat tonight. I said, Caitlin Clark's got the leverage. Caitlin Clark's got the power. She is the most popular women's sports athlete in the world. She's got the power and the leverage. Caitlin's been all class. Caitlin has got to be able to walk into that office and start kicking ass and taking names. Tell me what you think. Oh, there'll probably be some folks that don't like my video tonight. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm sorry, but if I own this franchise, this team would be built around.
The league is now facing an internal nightmare because the narrative of an accidental missed call is rapidly falling apart. When industry experts examine the timeline, the referee's complete refusal to respond during the altercation appears less like a simple mistake and more like a deliberate decision. Calls for immediate suspensions are now echoing from every corner of the sports world. Fans are demanding answers as to why a referee who allegedly ignored a superstar's safety is still permitted to wear the uniform. The pressure has become so overwhelming that high-level insiders claim the league is preparing to make an example of someone before a potential public boycott completely derails the WNBA's historic momentum. We are no longer just witnessing a sporting event. We are watching a corporate empire under total siege. Caitlin Clark's historic rise was expected to elevate the entire league, yet instead, it has exposed what many describe as a bitter, deeply rooted resentment from the old guard.